have another gift idea for Christmas. I know we have discussed laser cutters a couple different times, and I know that they do seem very complicated, because they can be. Up until this point, laser cutters were all about the same. They required a little bit of computer know-how and manageability to be able to put your items together in the program and then transfer all of that data into the machine. Now, while the technology has improved, it wasn't until this point that the technology actually became dummy-proof. I present to you today the first ever dummy-proof beginner laser cutter engraving machine. Now, this isn't just a laser cutter and engraver. No, this actually does a whole lot more. This is what I would call a hobby hybrid laser cutter. If you have been wanting to get a laser cutter or engraver, but you're just having trouble convincing your spouse that it's worth the money, the good news is this is a hybrid product, so it's not just a laser cutter and engraver. This can actually cut out graphics, it can cut out paper, it can cut out leather. It's not burning it. It actually has a multi-tool attachment. So you can cut your items out and you can go through and laser engrave them too. So this is a very exciting product. I am so happy to be able to present this to you guys. I have gone through it, and let me tell you, this thing is mind-blowing. So let's go take a look.
xTool spares no expense at ensuring their beloved M1 is able to be securely packaged and delivered to your door. It's double boxed, so that means even if the outside box is damaged, it stands a good chance of having absolutely no damage on the inside. It has a beautiful, stunning presentation when you open the first box. You pull open the first tab on the inside and it opens into a beautiful display, getting you even more excited to put your amazing product to use. I highly recommend you go with the upgraded kit. The upgraded kit includes the rotary tools, the risers, and it comes with a whole array of extra materials to get you going from straight off the bat. Now, these materials can be expensive to buy individually and to try out, so it's very nice that they give you a vast selection of different types of materials so you can really get a handle on what this machine can produce. I was honestly surprised at how many materials it came with. If the materials weren't enough, they were so thoughtful to include a cheat sheet chart for all of the included materials, so you know exactly what settings to input for this machine. This saves you so much time and so much frustration, not to mention wasted materials. But it's not just paper, it's actually laminated cardboard, so you can keep it and use it for years to come. Unlike traditional diode lasers, the xTool M1 actually includes a cutting knife in addition to the laser head. This allows you to cut through things like vinyl, paper, leather, without having to risk burning it all up with the actual laser head. But in order to do that, you do have to carefully attach the cutter tool into the laser head. And this does come with replacement blades if you find yourself using the blades a lot.
Oh my goodness, this is the coolest thing ever. It lights up inside there. I had no idea. Look at that. I even switched my light. I was like, oh man, I wish I had another light in here. I don't need another light. It has a light on the inside. I don't even know where they're coming from. I can't see them. That's genius. That is absolutely genius. Wow, this thing just so far is impressing me at every step of the way. Not to mention how easy it is to put together. All I had to do was put the little cutter in there and plug all the plugs in. The hardest thing... Oh, now it beeped at me. Look at this, you can still see through it. This was the hardest thing, was just connecting this stupid pipe on there because the clamp was so hard to squeeze for me. But other than that, this is amazing. Look, you can even look through it and still see everything. And this is a special laser glass so that it's not going to hurt your eyes. So now you don't have to worry about swapping glasses back and forth between everybody in the family waiting for that laser thing to get printed. Everybody can just stand around sipping coffee and watching this puppy produce all of your work. I am so excited to put this thing to work. All right, so I just connected the device to my computer. It is absolutely amazing how straightforward and how dummy-proof this thing actually is. I just connected it to my computer. I went to the website. They had one link. You click download, it downloads everything for you, and then you have this little button over here, I think it was right here, that you click find my laser. And it asked how you connected it in, and mine was connected through USB. You can connect it through Bluetooth. And then once I clicked on my laser's name, boom! This popped up. Look at this. This is exactly what the laser sees. I put 4 of these little key tags in there, and this is what it can see. I wasn't quite sure how this was gonna happen, but I don't even know where the camera is, but it's picking up, as far as I can tell, it's picking up most of that whole thing. So we're gonna close this. Wow. So now we can go through and we can put designs on each individual one. And because we can see live where it's at, we don't have to worry about if this is crooked, if it's up too high, if it's down too low. Unlike the Taser, I really like the Taser. It is a very powerful machine. However, the xTool M1 laser can do a heck of a lot more. Now, the one thing this laser cannot do, it cannot cut through super thick wood, like the 36 watt laser can do. However, unless you're planning on doing a lot of woodworking, generally you're not going to need to have that much power, and you're going to be better off having flexibility and creativity as the M1 offers by xTool. I mean, just the fact that you can put your stuff on there and get it printed, it's a massive time saver. And if you are like me and you're short on time, time is of the essence, and you cannot afford to waste it by trying to figure out how to position your stuff on the 36 watt Taser. Again, a Taser is a great laser. It does a lot of amazing things. I have been happy with it. But if you do find yourself struggling, the xTool M1 might be the answer. It definitely will keep you from struggling as much as the Taser laser. And that's only because they just recently came out with it and it is new technology. So let's see exactly what we can do with this laser and how easy it is. You know what? Let's go ahead. It is Christmas time. Let's put some little Christmas trees on these things. The xTool materials kit came with a whole pile of these, a whole bunch of them. All right, so once again, they make this ridiculously easy. So you can see I have a graphic right here. Originally I went on to the internet like I did with the Taser and I downloaded some graphics. So over here we have our shapes and we have a whole spectrum. Look, we even have borders and they give us even more. So these are all the different borders. This is in the xTool program, guys. This is right in the program, and here's our shapes. So we've got plants, we've got animals. I clicked on festival to find my Christmas tree, and we have all sorts. There's reindeer. There's just a whole variety of different shapes in here. It's just amazing. I was not expecting this at all. So we picked this graphic right here. I figured it would be fine. So we've already positioned it on our first piece. Now let's see if we can copy it. So I'm going to right click on it and click copy and paste. Now it does give you grid lines on here, so you can kind of line stuff up more or less. And I think we can touch it up just a hair bit by using our arrow keys right here to maneuver it around on the board. So that is so handy. So we are positioning this exactly where it's going to print. So we're going to come over here, material. It already has a whole pile of different materials in here. Oh, here's our wood tag. Now, these are materials based off what xTool does provide, and they provide almost everything that you can think of that you might want to use. So we'll click wood tag, thickness 2 mm, that's probably about right. Height raised, no. Processing path, okay. We could actually cut out these little ornament balls if we wanted to. See that? We can cut those out and then just leave this as an engraved design. Because each individual part is individual, you can select each individual part as needed. Okay, so it looks like what we have to do is select everything in one shot. And then, see, it says vector, output. What do we want to do? Do we want to score it? Do we want to engrave it? Or do we want to cut it?
Now, this program is very intuitive and quite intelligent, and I had assumed that I had to manually select which settings I needed. Now, it defaults to score, and I had assumed the score was more for things like leather, paper, or thin items that the laser couldn't work with, when in reality, this score function on wood does still use the laser. It just uses a little bit finer beam and cuts it or gives it a very clean look. Unfortunately, I chose engrave, and well, you'll see the results. It says we want a speed of, let's see, if we want to engrave M1 10 watts, so we want 90% power, 80 mm per second, and it only needs one pass. So all we have to do is adjust our settings. So let's try framing. Okay, the framing function is ready. Press the button on the device to start framing and press it again to perform framing once more. Come over here. Now again, we had to do this on the taser. It looks like it's a slightly crooked. So push it once more. Okay. Shoot, I also don't have this thing going out the window. So it is pretty cold out here, but we can shut the window down kind of around this a little bit. So let's hit process. Okay, that's the preview. All right, it looks good. And let's click start. Press the button on the device to start processing. Alrighty, here we go. Hopefully this will work. I don't know if there's an emergency shut off button on this, but oh, there it goes. So we're gonna let that finish rolling, and then I'm gonna get some more work together so we can put some other materials to use. All right, so here are our items. You can see that we do have just a little bit of burn through, not burn through. Keep it down here. It did go through pretty deep, so I think our settings were just a little bit too much for it. We've got a lot of overspray too. So I think if we dialed back our settings, even though this was what it suggested, but again, because this is 1mm and not 3mm, I think that was the deciding factor. All right, so we have our card right here. We're going to import our logo. Now, originally I had done this in white. I don't recommend doing it in white, simply because I don't think it can register it as a burn. So I switched it to black. I'm going to arrow it over just a little bit and hope that this is going to work. Okay. So it sees it as a bitmap. We really don't want that. So we're going to see if we can click it in black and white. These are the default settings. All right, let's give it a shot and see if we can frame it. Process. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and click start. So this is actual real stuff that I need done. This isn't just me looking for stuff to do. These are real projects that I absolutely do need and can put a use to. We're actually going to be creating some other promotional materials using this laser. Now, I do trust this laser a little bit more with these complex tasks than I do the taser, just because this one's a little bit more fine-skilled and delicate, and I know that I'm not going to mess it up. All right, so we'll check back in just a minute when this thing is done, and it's actually printing pretty quick. So, all right, so the time was 4 minutes and 36 seconds. So let's take a look at this. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Wow, I don't know if you can even see this. Look at this. This is beautiful. Oh my word, this looks so professional. Of course it needs, there we go, it needs some better light on it.
That looks amazing. That looks so good. And it's a little hard to read because it's gold. You need to get the light just right. But wow, that is... I might do a couple other colors just to see which one I like better. Because this is gold. It is double-sided. So, I mean, you could do one side with an image and the other side with that. Wow, I am absolutely blown away. That is so cool. And you can't even tell. Like, it looks crisp. Alright, so I decided to make Eric a present. If you saw my Taser video, you probably remember this car. This is Eric's Challenger. So I imported the picture. This is a picture that's already been processed through Adobe to bring down the color detail, and it's been processed into black and white. Now you have to remember that anything that's black is not going to be touched. Anything that's white is going to be touched. So we want to make sure that we invert the image right here. See, I click this option right here. That is going to make sure that the areas that are black are going to stay black, and the areas that are a little bit more shaded are going to be color graded by the laser. So anything you see that's white is not going to be touched by the laser. Now, the problem that we had with this graphic originally was the tires, because we did start with it on a black background. So you can see that the tires right here are white, so it's not going to touch that. So we're going to see if we can do this in 2 phases. I attempted it on the other laser and it did not work. So we have this option right here called trace image. So I'm going to go through first and see if I can engrave this whole thing, and then I'm going to go through a second time and just click trace image and see if that will just do the general outline, because we do need a general outline around these areas that are white. Otherwise they will not show through and we'll just have the car body floating with no tires. So we're gonna go ahead and frame this. Okay, so this took just under 10 minutes to get this done, but oh my word, I was watching this thing come through. Can you guys see this? Minus my fingerprints all over. Look at this. Look at the quality. Look at the quality. Oh my word. See right here where it had issues, and that was because it burned too slow. It should have been a little bit faster, and that's why you're getting that flame effect. But the business cards have been just spot on. My goodness. I'm beyond impressed. So now we do have a couple more items that we are going to put on this for this particular video. We have a lot more items that we are going to be producing in another video. All right, so we're back at it again today with real world applications. These are things that I can really stand to have done right now, and not just me looking for projects to do. And right here, I actually have a logo that I just created this morning. So if you remember the business card that we did yesterday, this is the rest of the logo, Farmstead Designs, and this is actually going to be for my jewelry company. We're gonna put our logo onto this box. This is just a cheapo box. I've got several of these, so if it messes up, it's not a big deal. And then I have this little square that I cut out of one of their samples that they sent. This is kind of like a leather type of vinyl material. So the reason that I'm doing both of these right here is because I have jewelry boxes that I paid good money for that I would like to engrave. Obviously, I don't want to ruin my nice jewelry boxes, so we have the same type of leather material that we're going to test on this, and then the box itself we're going to test on this. So we're going to see if we can put our logo onto both of these items. Now I bet you're wondering, is it actually going to carve on jewelry too? Well, you know what, xTool again went above and beyond, and they include some actual stainless steel jewelry items for you to test your designs on. So it is absolutely fantastic, all the little things they thought to include in this. Now, if you're going to be cutting this and using the scoring knife with this, they do give you some special sticky boards that you can put in here that don't move. It'll stick to this, and then it also has some sticky on it that will hold your fabric in place so that as the machine is cutting it with the knife, it's not going to slide all over. This should be okay with the laser because the laser's not going to cut all the way through. It's just going to engrave. Oh no! It just moved! It just moved! Oh my goodness. All right. All right, we're gonna cancel this. All right, so, okay. So this is, yeah, see how it just etched through that? And actually, it etched through this just a little bit. So, and that's why for something like this, you would probably want to have the craft paper just to keep this from moving around. Our jewelry boxes aren't going to need to be plopped down because they will be down. We probably could have done this a little bit thinner. Even though it didn't burn all the way through, it did have some heat imprints on there. As you can see right through here. This is not compatible with Lightburn. So you can create files in Lightburn and then import them into your xTool program, which is what this is. This was created in Lightburn and then I imported it in. I had to save it as an SVG file, SVG, and then I was able to import it in. All right, so previously I was talking to you about how easy this machine was and how we ran into one issue, and that was with anything that was just a little bit thicker than this, was going to give the machine issues. So pretty much when we open this up, your material has to be able to sit between here and here, so probably an inch or less thick. So anything that's above and beyond that thickness, you're going to have to modify the machine for. Now, standard lasers, such as the Taser over here and the ones that xTool make, their laser head can go up and down to accommodate different varieties of heights for your material. Plus, they also have little legs that you can put or make to go underneath each corner to allow you to drop your materials down further away from your laser module head. And, well, xTool does have something similar. They have a couple different options. Right here, these are little block bricks that they include, and they've got a couple different settings. We've got one there, we've got one there. And pretty much if you ever wondered why a company doesn't go through and make their own tools using their own machine, well, these are all made on the xTool. See how they're laser engraved and cut out? Well, that might be CNC, but they are doing it. So right here, we can make sure that our blocks are lined up. But you can see we also have this right here. This is the bottom plate. So with the next set of steps that we're going to be doing, we're actually going to have to take this base plate out and just drop this all the way down to the bottom. So that will allow us to engrave things like these boxes, or if we want to put the rotary tool in there, that's how we would set that up as well. Alright, so I decided to get a little creative and I just stuck a book underneath my box right here. And then, funny enough, it had this put right here on its own. But I think I would like to move it over just a hair bit. There is also an option where you can have it center. I just saw that on the website where it was in the help form. Anyway, there is a way to do that. I just have not gotten into looking at that just yet. So we're going to just bump it over. That looks pretty good. Measure the distance. Shoot, why did they not give me one of these? This is a measuring tool, but they actually require a specific one that did not come with my machine. Oh, so we actually have to create. Yeah, they have you create one. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I guess, but wow. So look at, you actually can put paper in there, or so this would be some of your basswood, which they give you basswood. So you would put your basswood in there, and then they would make you your own little auto measuring tool, which is cute. Look at that. So that's what it would look like. Well, I guess the next step, this probably should have been one of the first steps in the manual. So that would have been my suggestion, is to step number 1, make one of these little handy dandy measuring tools before you get too excited. So they have you measure from the bottom, or the top of your material, whatever it's going to be, all the way up to the very top of the laser. So right here, it's going to be about 8 millimeters. So that's the distance that they look for. Total from bottom to top is 200 millimeters. From the bottom to the 0 is 114.
Now, it's at this point that I make a critical mistake, and I'm showing this so that you don't make the same one. If you notice, I take the box and I move it. And then I go through and I move the graphics to where the box is shown. What I didn't realize is that the camera is not live. It pretty much just takes a picture of what's inside the box. So if you move anything, you have to go through and you have to click refresh the camera at the very top right-hand corner. And this will give you a live picture of what it actually sees. If you don't do this, well, this is what you're going to get.
Okay, so that's why we frame it. It was not on there at all.
Let's see, so right here we do have the laser flat. We have the height raised as no, and the thickness is 16. So what we were able to produce is this. You can see there's just a little bit of strange burn pattern on there, and I'm not sure what that's from exactly, but we did get it pretty much squared right there on the box. And then, so that was my test box, and then one of my actual boxes, this is what I got. So it's still quite a bit dark. I'm not sure, the inside of this box actually is white, so perhaps we just need to burn a little bit more through the paper to be able to pop that white through. So I think I'm going to try a second run, but I don't know, some people might like that faded look. And then we of course still have to do our jewelry container in there, and so this is the vinyl leather. So this one, it's probably gonna have to be resized down a little bit compared to this one because this one's larger, but I think this one's actually going to be a little bit easier to do because you just need to flick off just a little bit of that skin.
Now, in case you're wondering about the book, I'm using it as a riser to get the materials just a little bit closer to the laser head because, again, it doesn't move.
So this is a box for one of my customers. So we definitely don't want to mess this up. I know, it's a big step putting this in here. Good luck, friend. Good luck. All right, so you can see that it's not showing up on here, so we're going to go ahead and click refresh. And there it is. So now we can drag our logo over here, and obviously we want to make it smaller because we don't want it quite that large. We want engrave, power 20%, speed 225, 200, and bidirectional. So we're just going to put this right under here. So let's see. So we want to go from the bottom of your item all the way up to the very top of the laser. So this puts us at 5 inches, or if we look at the centimeters, which is kind of more what it goes by, it's about 2.5 or 12.5 centimeters. So now, after we got that, now we got to realign everything again. So let's go ahead and click refresh because this is going to change everything. All right, see? Now we're just going to move this back over. All right, so our first run produced just a faint whisper of something on there. It didn't even have any color. It was just a slight change. Maybe it took like some of the finish off just a little bit. So I ran it more aggressively, and this is what we got. It might be just a little bit too aggressive. I don't know. It looks like it really bit into the vinyl a little bit. Maybe even a little bit too much, because you can actually feel it. You don't want to get to the point where you can actually feel the texture in there, because I think that would be just a little bit too much, but it looks really good. Look at that, almost looks professional, guys. Man, look, I got a real jewelry company now. It's Farmstead Designs. Sweet. So that took 2.5 minutes for one. So keep in mind that this is a 10-watt laser, so it's going to take longer to produce some of these items. So if you had a stack of these, you're going to probably need to run it for a good amount of time. So this is our settings right here. So we had it listed under craft paper. With the setup we have, it was about 13.4 millimeters from the laser head. Height raised, no. We're going to click on our graphics to pull up the rest of it. So the power we had set to 20, and the speed was at 101. Lines per centimeter at 200. I'm honestly really excited. I might have to go get the rest of these and get them all done in one batch. Let's go ahead and get our little marker tool made. I've got some basswood here, so we'll make a little marker, see if we can get some stuff etched and see if we can get some stuff cut. And keep in mind, we are going to do a second video on this where we go through the rotary tool a little bit more advanced. We're going to do some jewelry, but we're also going to do vinyl graphics because that is a really neat feature that this offers where it uses the cutter tool instead of the laser. So we're going to put that to use and see if we can make some really cool shirts too. So let's finish this up and get our measuring tool made.
So thankfully,
all right,
once
so this
again,
is our live screen. We are going to
easy to download
hopefully
for
make
this
this
file.
test ruler
It's
right
actually
here.
an image that you're going to download
I downloaded
and
the
then
file from the
import
website,
under
and then
your
they did
images.
include this piece
So that's
of 3
straightforward
mm
and easy
basswood.
enough. One thing you have
So
to
I
keep in
positioned
mind
it in
is that
such a
this
way
does
that
not
it's gonna
select
not take up
everything
the
when you go
entire
to try to
piece,
move
but
it.
part of it.
It's a little bit
I
tedious
wasn't able
in
to
that
figure out how
regard,
to
so
move the
try
entire
not to
ruler
move
over
it
to
if
the side.
possible.
So I
was
just
actually
moved
moving the wood
basswood
underneath
over.
it and then clicking refresh
Now, I'm
at the
sure
top
there's a
of
way
the
to
screen.
move
And that
the
seemed to be a
image
little
with
bit
all the
easier for
different
me.
layers, but I haven't figured that out
The other
yet.
thing that you have to keep in mind
So what it does is it gives
I
us 2
thought
layers.
that
We
this
have
was
our
going to
cutting
go
layer
through
and
and
we have our
engrave
engraving layer.
everything.
And it goes
It's
in
not.
order. So layer
You
1 is going
actually
to go
want
through and
all of those little
engrave
dashes.
all of our little notations
You
on
want
there.
those to be
And then
scored
layer 2
by the
is going
machine.
to go through and
And it's
cut
going to give
the
you a
whole thing
totally
out.
different result if you try to burn it versus trying to score it. It actually won't even put the materials on there if you try to engrave it. So make sure that you have these notches set to score, and then the outer area, the main width of everything, you're going to set to cut. And you're actually probably going to have to do about 2 passes on that to cut all the way through.
But look at that. Oh my gosh. Look at this. My mind is blown. It just goes to show you shouldn't just assume something. Wow, look at that. That looks dang good. That looks really good. Now we just gotta figure out if it's gonna cut all the way through it. I don't know. I don't know if it cut through it the first time. I didn't want to push on it too hard. Wow, that looks really good. Okay. It's going through. It's going a lot faster than I was expecting. I have it set to do 2 passes, so I'm not sure. I don't know how much it's going through, but technically it's going through 3 passes. Oh, that looks good. It's just really hard to figure out if it went all the way through. Because if you move this, you're gonna have to redo it. Oh shoot, I just moved it! Ah! Crap, it did not go all the way through. So now what? It didn't even go anywhere near all the way through. Interesting. Shoot. This is the problem I ran into before when I was working with the taser. So what we're gonna do, and I was trying my best absolutely not to move this, is we're gonna put it back in. We're gonna refresh our screen. All right, so that took us 1 minute, 15 seconds, and we actually just processed the outside. I lined it up the best that I could. Unfortunately, I still was about 1 millimeter off. So it's pretty close to about 1 millimeter off, which is a bummer because this is gonna be used to measure. So you can see we managed to cut all the way through. We actually did 2 passes, and I think this was at 100%. So this is what we have. So, yeah, it's kind of a bummer. We're gonna have to subtract like a good millimeter. But again, this is 3 millimeter, and if you're gonna try to burn something out, cut it out, use power 100%, and you can start with 1 pass. Yeah, just do 2 passes, because I noticed that the center hole fell through on the 2nd pass. So you could alternatively make a burn chart, where you take a full sheet of this stuff, and you can use, breaking it. You can use the remainder of this to make a couple different burn charts, one for cutting through and the other one for actual burn engraving, with different settings and speeds, and that will give you kind of an idea of what you want to do. So now we can use this to gauge where we need to line stuff up. Alright guys, so I know that I just kind of whet your appetite for what this machine can do. Stay tuned for the next video coming out in about a week or so, probably right around Christmas time, where we are going to go surprise somebody with this laser, do some awesome things, and then they're going to get an amazing surprise of a lifetime. You're not going to want to miss this next video. I've been working on it for a couple of months trying to get this whole thing set up, so definitely stay tuned to see what else this bad boy can do and see how we make someone's day extra special this Christmas. Tell me about what you guys are doing this year for Christmas. Love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Put your comments down below of so far what you thought were the coolest features of this machine and what you might like to see it do in the next video. Thanks so much guys. Love you. Take care. Bye.